Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Primary Focus. Today I have DeeDee, founder of MoreThanGrand, with us today. And I'm so excited to have a little bit of holiday cheer and catch up. If you are watching on Instagram, please say hello in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, why don't you send us your favorite emoji? And I think there might be some people watching on Facebook as well. So welcome. Thank you for coming today. We are going to do a little holiday live stream together this afternoon. So we are each going to share a fun, easy, low lift holiday tradition because I love a holiday tradition. I don't like the extra work that can come with them sometimes. That prep gets a little bit harder every single year. So we each thought of something that would really put a smile on kids' faces, make a nice memory for the both of you, but also not leaving you feeling exhausted or with a big dirty kitchen to clean up at the end of the day. And we, right, I'm sure you've got a whole bundle of grandkids to entertain on the holidays. So I'm sure the messes can get really intense, DeeDee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just crazy. So, DeeDee, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself really quick?
Yes, I'm DeeDee with MoreThanGrand. I help new grandparents form strong bonds with their grandchildren and support parents at the beginning of their parenting journey.
DeeDee and I met at a conference a couple years ago, and we realized we just really have similar philosophy when it comes to working with kids and empowering parents. I'm Natalie, founder of Primary Focus, the Parent's Guide to Elementary School. So I was an elementary school teacher for 10 years, and now I support parents through all of the ups and downs that can go through, that you go through when sending your kids through school. I really know that parents are that really important link year after year after year. And a teacher can make a lot of impact on a child's life, but really we have them for 10 months. So I am all about lifting up parents through that educational journey so that your kids can thrive in school and you can feel really confident that you're raising kids that love learning.
Absolutely. So it's all part of the same thing, right?
Exactly. And we have a sponsor for this live stream today, OK Ready by Scholastic. I just want to say a big thank you to them. OK Ready gives the gift of kindergarten readiness for kids ages 3 to 5. If you remember the Scholastic Book Fair when you were growing up, if you have favorite Scholastic books, they now give the gift of the book fair at your doorstep once a month. So it's a great program. You get 3 classic stories, usually in a nice hardback copy too, every month with conversation cards, activities, more simple, wonderful traditions that you can do every month that won't leave you with a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And I actually got it for my grandchildren. I have a granddaughter who's 4, and it has been unbelievable to watch how these books are chosen and what they actually are doing for her in understanding language and reading and how it all comes together. So I've been so impressed with it. And I know I've got a link in my profile on Instagram that where you can learn more. I think you'll probably drop a link here also, Natalie.
Yeah, exactly. We both have links in our Instagram profiles. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description for this as well. So if you want to try it out, you can absolutely. We are affiliates with OK Ready, so you can support us by using one of our links, and you'll get free 2-day shipping for every single month of the box if you use one of our links. So we'd really appreciate it. And later on, we'll show you what the first box looks like and what you can expect from OK Ready.
I see a lot more people have joined. I'd love it if people would drop where they are watching from. That would be so nice to see how many people we've got from and where they're from.
Oh, I'd love to see where people are coming in from. DeeDee, remind us, where do you live again?
I'm up in the Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. Oh, I love it. Such a beautiful time of year up there.
Yeah,
And I'm
yes, it is. But then there's this, you wake up and everything's white. So
oh, it's that funny kind of rain that comes this time of
yeah,
year.
that light, fluffy rain.
Yeah, my friend's up in that area, and I think she got quite a bit of that. And I am on the East Coast in North Carolina. Perfect. Well, as people are kind of sharing where they're coming in from, I wanted to take a second and share a holiday tradition that I think is so much fun. This is perfect if you do have little ones that are still building coordination, especially that kind of like upper twos, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. And this is candy cane fishing. So let me get my stuff here. It's on the couch behind me.
Well, I can't wait to see you. You told me about this, but I can't wait to see how it goes.
Yes. Okay. So you'll have to bear with me because I'm, sitting at a desk. But essentially, you're going to take. We've got somebody from Boston. Yes, East Coast. You're going to take I have a bowl of rice. If you're doing this with a lot of kids, I would take one of the bigger mixing bowls. I just grabbed a small one because I didn't want to pour all my rice into a huge bowl. And you're going to stick candy canes out of the top of it. You want to make sure that the hook is up on this, and they'll stay pretty well in the bowl of rice. They'll stick up. And then you're going to make your fishing pole. So I took one candy cane and I tied a ribbon to it. And I have the hook that's down in this case because it's like a fishing hook. I tied this. If you were playing this for a long period of time or with a lot of kids, I would do a little bit of hot glue so that the ribbon doesn't slip off. Because this is still wrapped in plastic, so it can come off if it's getting played with too rough. But essentially, you're going to place this on the floor, and you're going to get your little one to come up with their fishing pole, and they're going to come in, and from quite a distance, they're going to try and fish out their candy canes, just like that. So,
Oh, that's great.
Simple, fun, very cheap. These candy canes, I think I got a box of 12 for about $2.
Yeah.
I remember when it used to be $1 or less for a box of 12, but I'll take it. Yeah, and you just kind of simply pull out your candy canes. I'm making it look easy because I'm holding it up to the camera, but this is actually pretty hard to do if you're actually holding it out like a fishing pole and going on the floor. And so what I would recommend is, you could entertain, if it's just the two of you, you don't need a timer. But if you're going with a group, maybe do like a 30-second timer and say how many can you get in those 30 seconds to lift up. So that's my little game, easy, cheap. And then when you're done, just pour the rice back into the bag or maybe cook it for dinner. But this took me 3 minutes to assemble. The hardest part was going to the grocery store and getting the candy canes. And I don't know about you, as the season goes on, I end up with more and more of these in my home that I don't really use or want.
That's great. And I love that you can adapt that for different ages too. As you said, you can set a timer and see how many the older kids can get in a certain amount of time. While with the little ones, and they're shorter, they're closer to the ground, so it'll be a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's you kind of sky's the limit here. You can make it as simple or as complicated as you want, but fun and easy. Do you have a tradition that you want to share that you love?
Well, yes, and I don't know if you can see behind me. I have some of my Christmas books that I collect. Ever since my kids were little, we have gotten a new Christmas book every year, and it's something that I have continued to do with my grandkids. So every year I find a new Christmas book to add to their collection. It's always the first thing that I pull out. As far as Christmas decorations, I get out the Christmas books, and then we know the season has started. And, when my kids were little and now my grandkids, they just love hearing those Christmas stories year after year. So
what are a couple of the titles you got?
This was the very first one in our collection. What Did Santa Bring? It is the most beat up board book that has been taped together over and over. But my son, as a baby, loved this book. He ate this book, but it was, it's still just an amazingly fun, simple board book. Doesn't have to be fancy, but I've got all the classics, The Gift of the Magi, the Polar Express, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, all of them, and a lot of unusual fun ones too. So I just think books are the most magical way to connect with your grandchildren. There is nothing like reading to them, whether you're together and they're snuggling on your lap while you're reading, or if you're doing it over FaceTime. Books are just a really wonderful way to connect.
Oh, absolutely. And the holiday books, especially because they are special, because they often do get tucked away if they'll let you tuck them away at the end of the
Right,
season.
right.
I know some of them have to sort of be ripped out of hands in February, but
Yeah,
it's just so sweet. And those books, they make such special memories. They become so special. And even as they age out of them, like that board book that you showed, it
right.
remains special again and again. And it just builds that love of reading.
Yes, yes. And it's amazing to me that some of the ones that are the most popular that they want to hear year after year are the ones that, they're not the ones with the familiar characters. They're not the ones with, that are the mass-produced books of every, where when you get one popular character and there's just
Mm.
an issue for every holiday and every occasion. It's the old stories that they love the most.
Yeah, totally. The nostalgia that comes with the holiday season is so special to kids, and it's very funny to watch young children be nostalgic for something when they are one day they will look back at
Yes.
being 6 years old and like, "Honey, this was the best of it." Like, but that they're nostalgic for even your childhood and the traditions that came before them. This is
Yeah,
such a special time of year to pass all that along.
it is. Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, Okay Ready wants to start a new monthly tradition with our families. I want to talk to you a little bit about what comes in the box. And DeeDee, please add in as I go. I think you and I have fallen in love with this program.
We really have. I just, I have encouraged grandparents to read to their grandchildren since I started More Than Grand. And I have always wanted to create some sort of resource for them that had book recommendations. And I just never found a way to do that. And when this program came along, I'm like, yes, somebody else has created exactly what I wanted to create. So I'm
I
so
completely agree. I come from the perspective of a former teacher. I spent most of my time teaching kindergarten, and something I've wanted to create for primary focus listeners and watchers for a long time has been questions that go with books. But it's hard because every book needs a different type of question, and you can give people question stems, but they still have to make it up on the fly as they go. And OK Ready has really brought all of those literacy skills that teachers are really pushing and begging parents to read every single night and made it easy. Because a lot of times when story time comes along, it is the very last thing you do in the day. And it can feel exhausting to sit there and try to be like, oh, is this a rhyming book? Yes, I guess I should be teaching you about rhyming. What's rhyming? It's
right.
hard. And so OK Ready has really taken that pain point of wanting to do good and wanting to support kids, and simplified it so that you can actually just enjoy the story time. So these are the books that come in the first box. This is the welcome box, but you get If Kids Ran the World, which such a cute one.
Yeah.
Giraffes Can't Dance.
I adore that story.
I love that. Scholastic actually has an animated version of this as well. So if you wanted to take it to the next level, there's like a 10-15 minute cartoon version.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. And then The Very Impatient Caterpillar, which I think is like a sassy hungry caterpillar. I really love it.
It is so fun. My granddaughter loved that book. I have a video somewhere on Instagram of the two of us reading that book, and it's just priceless.
I almost started crying when I was watching it. When she was trying to say metamorphosis or whatever the word was. Oh, so cute.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love, so those are the books, but it's more than just books. You get this roadmap. And so this comes with the welcome package, but it takes you on your journey. It gets pretty big, got adhesive so you can hang it on the wall. And basically every month this is how you track with your child that you've done all the activities. And you get these really cute personalized stickers that go with them. So I'll kind of hold these if we're going to focus. And so these are the activities with this month, which were the skill of patience, which I think most 3 to 5-year-olds are a little short on, rhyming, and then kindness. And so each book has that theme. And as you go through it, you put the stickers on the roadmap to say that you've completed it. So it's kind of like I don't know if anyone uses a chore chart or any sort of tracking at home with kids. They love things like this, and it motivates them to keep going.
Right, right. And it's
Yeah.
so, the idea that a book is going to help with patience seems kind of abstract, but I'll tell you, we read The Very Impatient Caterpillar over and over again. And during the week that I was with my granddaughter, there were multiple times that either she or I referred back to the book
Mm.
when she wasn't being patient, when we were having trouble being patient. And it was so helpful to have that framework to talk about something that's so important.
Yeah, and kids really need to read books multiple times. This is something we focused on in kindergarten. A child should really be reading a book at least 3 times if they're really going to take it in, and even more than that as necessary or as they continue to enjoy it. It's developmentally appropriate at that age to be repetitive and want to experience the same things again and again because they're getting a different experience each time they read it. But for you, when you're reading it, it might start to feel a little bit dull, or maybe you're like, okay, let's go. The bookmarks and the playbook that comes with the package gives you ways to spice up the book every time you read it. So maybe the first time you read it, you're focusing in on the vocabulary words and they give you the definitions in the bookmark. So you can just kind of glance at them as you go along. Maybe the second time you read it, you're talking about that patience skill and how the caterpillar had to be patient to become what does it become? A
Butterfly.
butterfly. I was about to say helicopter, so I don't know what's going on in here. Uh, and then, it connects to life skills and there's activities, and most of the activities are no prep or low prep, imagination based, things that you might already have in your home. For example, I think, let's see, there's a charades game that they have for if kids ran the world. And so it just takes the books and it brings them to life and will make so many more memories. You talked about your holiday books, how they bring Christmas to life, and they're the first decoration you pull out because they hold so many memories.
Yeah.
Now you can kind of recreate that every single month, and you can even revisit the books over time. Or if you have another child in your life that is suddenly at that age, repeat these things, and the older child can enjoy it all over again.
Right. Right. I think that's something that people forget about picture books is they're so important for children, even when they've graduated to being able to read chapter books. Those picture books are still a really, really valuable thing in a child's life.
You're so right, and this is why graphic novels are so popular with
Yeah.
kids. They enjoy it. It's so fun to see, and the books are. I mean, these are nice. They're the hardcover, full size books with really vivid illustrations in them. Here's like a page for you. Um, just really nice books. What I liked about these was I actually, when I was teaching kindergarten first, and I had a little stint in second grade for a while, these were books that I was reading to kids those age too. They're not your board books. They're not baby books. They're things
Right.
that even if you've got older kiddos in the house, they will still really enjoy these. And there's a lot for them to learn from them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, while we're on the subject of books, do you have a favorite holiday story, either a movie or a book that you
Oh,
love?
well, I think my favorite, which is obviously more of a grown-up story, is The Gift of the Magi. That is my favorite Christmas story because it's so beautiful, and O. Henry is such an amazing surprise twist at the end author. But as far as children's stories, I mean, I loved Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That was the highlight of my childhood, is when that was shown on TV. Back in the day when you couldn't just go watch it whenever you wanted to. You had to wait for it to show the week before Christmas. And that was, always a very special night.
Did you know right around Thanksgiving, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original animated version, it had its 60th birthday this year.
Oh, well, see, this is why I was listening to it, watching it when I was 5 years old. It's the
Well,
same
it
age
was still,
I
I
am.
mean, it was
So
still on when I was a kid. It's amazing.
I did not know that. How about you? What's your favorite?
Let's see. Well, for more, I guess, adult reading, the Winter Street series by Ellen Hildebrand, I love. It's this family that lives on Nantucket, and I think she must come out with a new one every single year, but it's their Christmas celebration as this big dysfunctional family, and it just gives me all the warm vibes. But I think as a kid, It's gotta be Frosty the Snowman.
That was
I always
definitely a close
dreamed.
second for me.
Right? I
Yeah.
always dreamed of the white Christmas. That's all I wanted. I didn't grow up quite. I did have one white Christmas as a child of Virginia Beach, but most of the time it was not even on in the cards to happen.
Right.
So I think I lived a lot vicariously through Frosty and his magical day. Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
dear.
Well, DeeDee, thank you so much for joining me today. We would love it if y'all checked out OK Ready. Again, there is a link in the YouTube live stream if you're watching here. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, we have these in our bios. We would really appreciate it if you used our affiliate links when you order. If you've got questions about OK Ready, leave a comment on this live stream, or you can reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer any questions. You can try it for 1 month, 6 months, or for the full year. And it's honestly, it's a really great gift. If you are like an aunt or uncle and you just want to get it done, you can pay for the entire year at once and just kind of set it and forget it on the literacy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And if you've not seen DeeDee before, please give her a follow on Instagram. MoreThanGrand is honestly, I think, one of the best accounts out there. I love everything you put out.
You are so
Um,
sweet.
and if you're watching me on DeeDee's accounts, I would love it if you gave me a follow either on Instagram or YouTube, Primary Focus. But thanks for watching us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and have a happy holiday, Natalie.
You too. See ya.